Live from Sin City, Las Vegas. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the afternoon swing trading floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsome, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, and trade it. My dear friends, team, and family from around the entire globe. Hope you're all doing just the most remarkable weekend of all time. That's what I hope. Jay says Vegas easing COVID rules. I have no idea, man. I haven't even gotten a chance to go out. Other than a quick little run today, I will be mega slammed for the next 48 hours until I get back to Nashville. So yeah, I won't go out to any casinos or anything. But if I had to guess, I would say no. I'd have to say no initially. But yeah, man, whew. So all kinds of things happening out there. Let's go talk about it. And the most interesting thing, I mean, I'm really, really intrigued slash fascinated by this. The broader market, aka the SPY, really was up most of the day today, almost all day, and had a little bit of selling towards the end. So this is like the 15-minute chart. So 15-minute chart, you had like just a little bit of selling towards the end of the day, and that's pretty much it. But you had that miraculous run up yesterday, which was Friday, towards the end of the day. And we gapped up this morning. Now, in the stock review that I mentioned if we gapped up, expect this to trade lower because you had all the buying from Friday. And well, that's pretty much what happened. So we did gap up today from the close of yesterday, and we did end up pulling back some. So interesting to see what's going to happen. Cal says you're in Vegas. Where are you staying? I'm staying at Svetlana's house until Wednesday. Mike says MGM, no shows and no pulls anywhere. Yeah, man. Yep, I get it. So it's just gonna be one of those random events for sure. But here's the cues, and the cues, my friends, were not bullish at all today. Now, granted, we can hang out here for a little bit, but I did snag some protection on some individual stocks, and we'll cover those. I want you all to know that if we close, I mean, we almost closed below that low, but that's really not a bullish signal. The amount of selling that we had today. So here's the only thing I can say about the market and a few individual stocks we're going to look at and things of that nature. But in general, today was either one of the greatest traps of all time, or we're going to continue lower without question. And so I don't entirely know which one it's going to play out to be. I know that there's so many traders who are going to play that hammer just like that. And I talked about that actually on Friday in the stock review, and I mentioned that probably wouldn't work because of the size of the hammer. So actually, this is one of the times where I'm not doing it because they're everywhere, right? Every single stock has them. And the last time that I saw a hammer like this that got taken out pretty much immediately was this one, March 10th. And it's weird that it was like a year ago. A little creepy, if you ask me. And at the moment in time, this was the cues. We had sold off at that point in time 17% from COVID, right? When COVID was a thing and, people were getting sick. So right now we're still down 12%. So the question is, can we go lower? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes, absolutely. We can go lower. We can go lower on pretty much everything, anything, all the time. Is this the Great Depression? Is this the all-time high of the market? Does everything just go cataclysmically lower from here? No, I don't believe so. What makes the most sense to me is to get some more selling potentially on the broader market, because it does look like that's going to happen. And if we go to a weekly chart, right? Weekly chart, I mean, this is actually the monthly. So if we go to the weekly, we're still quite far away. There is absolutely all capabilities and possibilities that we could trade all the way down into here, which is about 260 on the Qs. That is possible. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but it can. I mean, because this is a lot of volume, a lot of volume. I mean, we've never had bullish volume like that. I mean, that's just the way the market is, though. You always get more selling volume than buying volume. But when we did get all that selling volume back in March, and then we took that out, I mean, you can obviously see what happened. That was in May, so two months later. So can we get that amount of buying? Yes. Obviously, you always sell off faster than you go up. That's just psychology. That's just markets. It's just the way it works. So we'll see, guys. I did snag some more protection today. We're going to talk about the things that I am in, just, you know, as an insurance position in. But right now on the overall Qs, we can go lower. We'll see. We will see. I mean, if we gap down tomorrow, right, we probably trade up a little bit and have a small bullish day. And that would be, again, a really, really good day to buy some insurance just in case we get one of these. I still absolutely think we go higher. It just makes sense on all things based on the trends, right? Growth, the fact that the economy is going to open back up. People are going to travel. People are going to be excited about it. But what I am noticing is everyone in all aspects of social media is like, buy the dip. What a great buying opportunity. So they're used to it. So just expect a little bit more selling to possibly come in is all I'm getting at. I think it can happen. It probably will happen. And again, if you are swing trading, I've been mentioning this every single day I'm in the afternoon room, but type in a 1, if I've mentioned this before, but type a 1 if you know you can short, right? You can play Momo short, you can short shares, you can buy puts, you can day trade on the bearish side, you can still make money on the downside, even if you have long-term positions, right? Long-term positions that you're in, right? Anything long-term that I've been buying on this pullback, obviously I'm losing on. And obviously I'll go even redder on those if we get something like this. That would be bigger dip than COVID, actually. So, you know, if we came all the way down to here, that's 24%. We had 28% on COVID, sorry. So not quite as large. But if we pull all the way down here, about 24% on the Qs. Again, obviously you'd be losing on positions, but I had the exact same discussion for everyone who was here during this market move right there. So when this kind of craziness was happening, I still had the same discussion, guys. I was like, I don't see why we wouldn't go higher. This doesn't make much sense to me. It seems more or less dumb. Good trends. Nothing really changed in the markets. Good pullback. Buy the dip. And I was wrong for a lot of days and a lot of weeks. I say a lot. I mean, 2 weeks, 14 days. So I guess in general, understand that we can go lower. I think we can go lower. Make sure you check your balances, your exposure. Make sure the stocks that you're buying or the long-term options that you're buying, you want to be in. When the market's dropping like this, sometimes the best thing to do is nothing, right? Like you don't have to always buy every single day. You can wait it out. You can short, you can day trade, you can buy puts, or just take it easy and just say, okay, cool. I'm in the stocks I want to be in. I'm in at the prices I want to be in at. Now I just sit back, relax, and let it do its thing. Because once you've deployed your capital and your cash, you're in, and there's not much else you can do other than wait. If you're buying good companies at good prices, it will work out. So just something to think about and keep in mind. The Dow Jones was amazingly strong today. It actually made a new all-time high, the DIA. So we gapped up and just kept on churning and burning. So that's really remarkable. It's been a while since I can remember an exact time where the Dow crushed and the Qs just got murder sauced. So, I mean, this ended up 1% on the day. It was up 2.5% at one point. So, I mean, could it retest and we bounce higher? Yeah. Ironically enough, Dow Jones stocks like Disney and Boeing, it's pretty strong. So we'll see. I mean, will the NASDAQ lead the whole market down? Yeah, very possible. Again, we are still pretty high up there. So this could be a little bit of a shakeout on the Dow. This could be a fake breakout. I'm fine with some bear movements, folks. Just keep that in mind. Make sure you're comfortable at either knowing at least how to buy puts, knowing how to short stock. It can be on a quick short-term level, but don't do anything explicitly active if you don't want to. Just keep that in mind. You can take it slow. You can take it easy. Sit back, relax. This is going to be amazing for day trading. So if you love day trading, you're going to have an absolute blast. Michael says, will Tesla and Cathie Wood bring the market down? Cathie Wood and Tesla stocks will bring those high flying momentum stocks lower. Yes. Daniel said we need some bear movements so we can trap them later on. That's a very good way to think about it. Yep. And again, just as a reminder, if you are, and you do know a little bit about day trading, most of my day trading money is normally made in bear market moves because it's just so easy. We're going to talk about some of those today, but man, there was some out there today that was just like fish in a barrel, specifically AMD. AMD was amazing. Maloney says, mine too. Beautiful. So let's go look at some of the stocks that were requested, and I'm sure we'll have some room for some more. So Western Midstream Partners, ticker symbol WES. Western Midstream, an energy oil refining marketing company. Again, I don't have any position in this one, but in general, I mean, imagine being in this thing the whole time it was selling off. That would kind of suck, huh? Buying it over here, like, this is a great company, and then bloop, bloop, bloop. That's why you do want to have some type of hedging out there, some type of exposure where you feel comfortable and satiated. You kind of just kind of get a general idea of what's going to happen and what's going on. But yeah, Western Midstream Partners, good little tank session. I don't have any position in this one, but if I was going to play it, I know I'm going to say this a lot, but I would buy it a little bit lower than where it is now, probably 1736, and that's about it. I actually totally forgot about this company, KRUS Sushi Company. I totally forgot about this thing. Me and Blake Anderson and a few other traders were trading this one back in like 2019. We made some decent money through these little moves right here. And I did get out before COVID, thankfully. I don't know why or how, but I was not in during that move. Mostly because I sold right there, that resistance. So anyway, revolving sushi. I mean, who doesn't like stuffing their face with absorbent amounts of sushi? And then obviously, you know, COVID tanked, stock went up because, you know, everyone was eating at sushi restaurants during COVID. So, you know, why not go higher, right? And it went to all-time highs into 36. So Thomas Wong was like buying, I think, 10 shares or so a month or something like that, picking up really, really tiny positions because that man has a sushi habit. A little bit of a sushi addiction, says Thomas Wong. So he was able to pay for his sushi habit by just accumulating some shares of this one and then selling it higher. So good job, Thomas, and congratulations also, my dear friend. I forget exactly where you posted that. Did you post that in Slack yet? The final Slack? I'll just say congrats until if you do post it. Yeah. Cal said there are worse addictions to have. Very true. Very true. Thomas says last week. Gotcha. Okay, beautiful. So yeah, team, there you go. There's Thomas and his wife. Congratulations to the Wong family. Baby girl. That is so fantastic, man. Wonderful, wonderful news. I mean, if that doesn't put a smile on your face, what's wrong with you? Amazing, man. So awesome. You know, actually, talking about this particular trade, I actually do like this hammer. We haven't pulled back a lot, but we pulled back 18%. I do like this hammer today on KRUS. So what I'm going to do is put it on my watch list, and if it still looks good tomorrow, I will come back to it. Just because the market volatility is a little bit weird, but this could be a new official swing trade because I'm not going to just stop taking swing trades because the market's selling off. Although, as I've mentioned, we still have the ability to easily swing trade bear Momo. It's not hard. It's not difficult. If you see a bear setup, just play it. But yeah, I will keep an eye on that one and we'll see what it does. I'll look at that one again tomorrow. Tuesday, KRUS. All right, wonderful. Next on the list is Shopify, and I don't have any positions on Shopify right now. Although I did have some put sales on Shopify back over here, and those put sales were at 840. If you're looking at buying Shop, it traded right up to that $1,500 even price number and started selling off. So if I personally were looking at playing Shopify, which I am, I'd probably look around that 840 price range. Now, granted, it is hitting the 200 simple moving average right now, which is, again, very, very similar area of where it pulled back during COVID, right? Shopify pulled back 45% during COVID. It's only down 30% right now. So we can go lower, but hitting that 200 simple moving average, I guess time will tell. We'll see how it plays out, but a lot of volume coming in. Interesting to see what it does. I prefer to 840. Don't have any position in it right now. And that's really all I got. So yeah, I might pick up a share or two down here at 840, and that's about it. Amazon, weakest stock in the world other than AMD. So Amazon down a little bit. I really, really do like this lower shadow. I mean, again, perfect hammer, perfect hammer. So the challenge is everyone and their dog can see this hammer on the market from Friday. So that was one that you didn't want to just obviously close your eyes and play. But we did trade down to a good support level. It does look like a good potential bouncing opportunity on Amazon. I'm just going to weigh it out and say, okay, I have my $4,000 June call options on Amazon, which obviously I'm down on pretty dramatically. If Amazon starts taking out this support level, it's going to go lower. And we can day trade some puts. We can day trade it short. It's an incredibly strong level, but just keep in mind, Amazon is not impervious to going lower. It can sell off more. In fact, during COVID, it was actually down to 100 simple on a weekly chart. So we got some room to go. And if that does, I will absolutely lose a slew of R's, an R or two, probably more like 10. If Amazon doesn't go near or closer to 4,000 between now and June, which again, we have all of March, all of April earnings, all of May, most of June. So I do have time. Time is on my side. And I have technically paid, decreased my cost basis on some of those from the calls that we sold. So right now I'm waiting, and we'll see what Amazon does. Alibaba, also Denzel Shreddington today. This was one of the weaker stocks because you actually opened below or very close to the lows of Thursday and Friday. Most stocks opened higher, but Alibaba did not. So Robert Falco was actually looking at shorting Alibaba today on a day trade, and it was a really, really good short. It just didn't go up to his level to get short at. It got close, but didn't quite get there. Sammy says my first tier filled on Baba today. So Sammy's referring to a position trade. So it's kind of buying the dip, buy low, sell high. And that's awesome to hear. At this point, my friends, there's a very, very real possibility and probability that Alibaba could get down to 210. Not saying it will happen, just saying it could. So if you're looking at buying, we closed below both of those. That is a big, big deal. 5 bear candles in a row. So we can gap down and have a little bit of a bullish day tomorrow. And then probably if you're not in some protection, would be a decent place to buy some just in case. I realize that if you're buying any kind of protection or any kind of puts or insurance down here, you're buying them at support. So we'll see what Baba does, but can it go lower? Ladies and gentlemen, the answer is yes. Matt says, why do you say 210? Mostly because that was just that was the area that we bounced off of previously, right there. So we've been down there before in December. We can easily go down there again. Right, here's the 100 simple moving average on a weekly chart. So 217 will be a small spot where it'll pause. So that's pretty much my thoughts on Alibaba. And yeah, we'll see if we can do his thing. So anyway, long story short, it can go lower. And I do believe in Baba as a long-term company. This is one of the first times you got a really significant lower high on a weekly chart. Although it's not the only time, right? You got some lower highs on some weeklies here. You got some here. You got one there. So we've had some lower highs on a weekly chart before. Lower high specifically referring to this and this. And yeah, looks strong. So we will see, and buy as low as you can, be as patient as you can, or don't play it at all, or play it bearish if you want to. Because again, if I come back over, just as a reminder, to the 78-minute chart, Momo has been short on Alibaba for a bit. And by a bit, I do mean February 18th. So again, if you've been sweating this whole move down, just throwing it out there. If you are playing Momo, you have the ability at shorting this stuff. The daily Momo went bearish on the 24th of January, or sorry, of February. So we'll see when some of these things get a daily Momo, but I think we got a few more days to wait. It looks like March. What's interesting is October historically used to be the most bearish month of the year, I believe, on average. After these 2 years, I think it might be March. March might end up taking the place of October if we keep doing this March sell-off every year. So that'll be interesting. All right, Square. So Square, here it is. And you got a strong hammer on Square inside day candle today. Perfect inside day candle. I would actually really like Square to go higher. Sorry, lower. Square is very, very high. Very, very high. So this is one that I'm not in right now. I think we're about to enter a consolidation phase. So for me, this and this look very similar. So we're in something like this in Square right now. Call it what you will. I would call it a distribution phase where we start selling off, and then we might chop around. This could be a year or two of sideways movement on Square. Now, again, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that we could trade down to 160 and bounce to 220. And again, keep that in mind. That could be an amazing money-making opportunity. It really could, and probably will. And I think longer term, Square will be just fine. But there is all kinds of evening star reversal patterns over here. Maloney says we can do credit spreads. Yep, you can do credit spreads. You can buy shares, buy options, right? Buy low, sell high. My next spot where I'm personally intrigued on playing Square is 163.98. 163.98. Otherwise, until then, a little bit of short city. Neo also with an immaculate hammer. Very, very pretty. Inside candle right here. So very nice hammer, inside candle. Weekly chart, again, Neo pulling back a little bit. You just had so many white candles in a row. This actually, if you can squint your eyes, is perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're looking at like an ABC monthly correction on Neo, where we could go to the high 20s before we really, really start massively bouncing. I don't have any position on Neo, and I'm not saying it's a bad company at all. I'm just saying it was very high, and this was perfectly natural, normal, and needed. So this is the first time Neo is really interacting with its long-term 200 in a year. So keeping in mind, this is one of those really, really important cycles to understand. If you make a bunch of money here, right, where you trade up and you're like, all right, I'm crushing it. When these moves happen, which they do, and that's really, really steep. I mean, we've just been selling off every single day for 3 weeks in a row. When you get those kind of moves, your goal is just to not lose all the gains that you made from over here. That's your main objective, realistically. Sammy says, Jan, can swings be set up short, or do you only suggest day trading short? It's great question, Sammy. Yeah, man, you can absolutely 100% unequivocally and unquestionably swing trade short. Yep, you can short shares, you can buy puts. I think I mentioned that a few times recently. On Neo, for example, right? So Neo had a bearish Momo trigger here, February 19th on the daily chart. So if you're like, okay, well, it's on the daily Momo, and then you now have the intraday Momo. I'm sure all of you realize that once you have that Momo trigger, Momo stands for momentum. So that means the trend is bearish. So if it's pulling back into these moving averages and you in a short into the pullback of those moving averages or buy puts, you can. Sammy said, will the R still be times 2R? I'm assuming, Sammy, you're referring to your target. And again, it depends. If you are playing your momentum, AKA the Momo strategy that we designed and that we've been using for a while, normally you stay in until it flips. That's kind of like what the strategy outlines is you stay in until it says exit short, enter long. But if you do in fact want to short and start exiting at 2 Rs or 2.3 Rs, yeah, man, absolutely. The math all works out. As long as you make more money than you lose, that's it. Yeah. That's the most powerful thing that we can do in trading, is just simply have a really, really good lose less than you win approach. So if you're losing 1 R and you're making 2 on every trade, it's just amazing. It's incredible. Yeah, man. Great question. Tay says, I lost a couple of day trades, swing trading some stocks bearish, but I made some good money doing it. I lost a couple of day trades swinging some stocks bearish, but I made some good money doing it. I lost a couple of day trades swinging. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I mean, I get the idea, I get the gist, but yeah, I mean, that you're absolutely going to lose money for sure, lose money sometimes, and then when you don't, you don't. So sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. Just make sure when you win more than you lose. That's the game, my man. That's it. That's it. Sean says, fuel cell, if you have time today, please. All right. Okay, so that was NEO. I guess, again, from a daily perspective, I think it really can go lower. But, I mean, I really, really think we're going to get some type of at least relief rally, even for a week or two on some of these stocks before we do something. Because we really have just been straight down. Although, of course, again, I don't really have tons of NEO positions, but by tons, I don't have any. But when it closed below this hammer, I mean, you couldn't have been specifically bearish, you couldn't have been bullish, especially with this bearish gap and go. That's a good one. Very good bearish gap and go there on NEO. All right, Wix. Well, I guess I am thankful that I got trailed out. You never like getting trailed out on positions, but I did get trailed out on Thursday, and it looks like, I guess that was a good thing. So I guess I do know what I'm doing sometimes. Again, trust me, guys, it always feels like you're just a giant dum-dum. Anytime you get trailed out on positions and you don't sell the exact high. I thought that was a great trade, and it was. I sold at 312 rather than 360. So left some money on the table, but Wix getting a very strong pullback. I mean, could Wix pull all the way back to 220? And the answer is yes. So it did not hit 400. That's why I did my best to hold and eventually sold. So Wix, yeah, long story short, let it go lower. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Especially with the close below that hammer the very, very next day. Yeah, short the rip. Let it, if it pulls back, short it, and then let it trade down to 220, and then we can buy it. I don't have any positions on the Wix in any of my accounts right now. I'm fully out of my Wix. John says, long story short is the story of the month. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. GreenSky Incorporated. So finance, rental, leasing company. Right now it's in a double black diamond downward ski slope. Keeps getting punched in the face by the 100 simple on a weekly chart. Here's the daily chart on GreenSky, and it appears, at least according to TradingView, that earnings is right around the corner. I don't have any position on this one, and I don't think I will. I'll probably wait. If I was going to wait until earnings, I would wait until earnings to get into this trade. Yeah, wait until earnings, and then let's see what earnings does. And if it kind of keeps compressing and building, then get in bearish if it goes up. All right, everyone's biggest loser probably, Tesla. So I also am in Tesla. I also am in down on Tesla, but I am just getting started with my positions. So I do have a put sale for March, which is next Friday at 400. I do expect that one to expire worthless. But this 500, I expect to put some shares down here. This absolutely could happen. It is an inside candle on Tesla. It's absolutely correct. But 500 is a very, very real possibility at this point, my friends. I mean, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but we've said 1.5 million times when it was up here, expect Tesla at some point in its lifetime to have a 50% pullback. Guys, 50% is like just a little bit of ways. That's 450. Doable. Oscar says going from 450 to 800 back to 500 hertz, stuck in some covered calls, and I did not expect this. True. Well, so remember, Oscar, you can always buy to close your covered calls. I'm sure you know that. But if you sell calls, you can buy them back anytime, right? So just buy to close, take your profits, and let it pull back. This is a very steep pullback on Tesla, and I mean, it's similar to COVID in my opinion. It feels very similar, even though it's not COVID. It's a random pullback. Michael said, "Are 50% pullbacks like this common when something is overbought?" Yep, very common. Extremely common. So common, I mentioned it about 18 times back in both January and February that it was going to happen at some point on Tesla. So case in point, my put sales 500 and 400, this is where I'm going to be buying my shares. Right now, I think in total, I only have 70 shares of Tesla and 1 long-term call option. That's it. That's all my Tesla position, guys. So 1 long-term call, probably 70 shares, and these put sales. So buy low, sell high. This is a pullback. We can easily get more. And again, if we go back over to the daily chart, I don't think anyone thought that Tesla was going to go up when March 4th candle closed below that hammer that bounced off the 100 on the daily. Mike says, if Tesla goes to 400, it may be time to sell everything and go all in. Well, man, I can say this, 400 is a very real possibility. 400 could happen. So even if you do go in large, just keep in mind that it can go lower. Ooh. In fact, if I'm doing a wave count, this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 can go pretty long, A, B, C. So we can go to 400, man. I mean, I don't know how low exactly. I don't know. No one knows the exact bottom of when Tesla's going to stop. But here's the 100 simple on a weekly chart if it makes you feel better. And we are still pretty far away from that. So just note, stocks always go down faster than they go up. And the reason I keep saying that is because a lot of you are in some shares and some longer term call options. I'm in both of those things. And I am going to be in my full position pretty much when if Tesla gets down to this 400 level, I'll be in my full size. And then I'll start hedging with options appropriately, right? So if we start breaking those levels, I'll start getting into all my positions again. And if we start consolidating and then slow down and then eventually bounce out of there, then that'll be great. But it's still going to take time, right? If you're buying now, there is 0% chance we will be back up to the all-time highs before the end of May on Tesla. Right? So we're not going to get it back up there before the end of May. So throwing all that to let you know, like if you're buying down here and when we accumulate, we could accumulate into here until August or September before going up. So, you know, if you made money quickly during 2020 and early 2021, congratulations. That's amazing. Right now, you're giving back a lot of money very quickly if you're bullish on most positions. Just don't give all of it back. Make sure you keep some. And at the end of the years, right, let's say at the end of this year and next year, if your accounts are up 60% between both years, on average, still amazing. So something to think through. Jonathan Wade says, I'm expecting to hold everything I'm in for the rest of the year or longer. All right, there we go. Robert says the high is in for the year, in my opinion. On Tesla, it's possible, man. I mean, I think everyone and their mom thought the same thing during COVID as well. Same exact time frame too. Same exact time frame. March, last 2 Marches. So there we go. That's what we got on Tesla. All right, AMD. So full disclosure, I did buy some puts on AMD today. I did not want to. Trust me, I realize this is a horrible time to buy puts. It is literally right at support. Right at support. So really, I should probably be buying some calls and some puts, and I might do that tomorrow. I'm going to day trade AMD like an absolute banshee tomorrow. But the fact that we closed below the hammer literally in one day, I had to buy puts because that was my plan. That was it. So we closed below the low of the day, and that's all I got to say on AMD. AMD has literally been the weakest tech stock that I can think of since 2021. I mean, it just gets absolutely murdered on a daily basis. John says nobody needs CPUs anymore. Oh, that makes sense. Got it. Robert says the ATM machine was too good. Oh, bro. ATM machine today was amazing. Amazing. So this is the extended hour chart. This is how a few traders played AMD. So we traded, oops, that was a terrible drawing. We traded right up into the post-market high on AMD this morning. And that was also very, very close to the 200 simple on the daily. AMD's been very short out the gate for like the last, I don't know, 9 months in a row. So the plan was to short it. And if you did that, you crushed. So shout outs to Chris Stanley and Jake Neal and John Alonzo and Michael Watt and a few other traders who also played AMD short today. Here's the Momo. If I turn the extended hours off, the Momo on AMD went short on the 5-minute chart at 850, and that was it. It never went long all day. So yeah, I mean, it just like if you're playing the 5-minute chart, you got short 20 minutes after market open, and all you did was soil it all day long. It was such an easy trade. It really was. AMD short was just like the most miraculously easy thing of all time. So I did put some shares at $80 cost basis on Friday. So I won't be buying any more shares yet, Hector. Hector was asking me to buy more shares. I'm going to hedge with options until 55.48 because that's probably where we're going. Now, very, very strong support on AMD. Let's not understate that. So can we throw in some lower shadows and then just rally and just absolutely take off like a monster? Yes. Are we going to do that? I don't know. So I'm going to hedge with options all the way down into here if we need to. And then when we get down here, I'll use all the money that I made from hedging with options to buy more shares. And then I'll probably have to wait 2 years for it to go back up to 100. And then I'll sell it. So that you all know, I had to do the exact same thing on Micron Technology, which is now at 92. I had to do the same thing on Micron, same exact strategy and everything back in October of 2018. Right. So right here, I got put and I had to hedge with options and hedge with options until I got called away in late 2020 for a profit. And then of course it did that. So just FYI, yeah, it took a whole 2 years. This is true. So yeah, and I hedged with options the whole time, had a blast, and it was amazing. Peter says, not 100 this year, but you promised. I know, man. I broke my promise. I'm a liar. So sorry. I guess 99.23 was as high as it was going to go. That is where I sold my MD also. New high, new all-time high, January 11th. Sold there and been buying back in ever since. So yeah, man. I think it did hit 100 pre-market as well back on January 11th. I'm not mistaken. All right, Go Health. Ticker symbol GOCO. So Go Health, the only position I have on this one right now is June 1750 call options, and those are absolute zero. So I will only lose an R on Go Health. and it won't happen until June. So if it goes up to June 1750, that could work out, especially if it has really good earnings, which I don't know if it will because no one's getting sick right now. So we're going to find out, you know, like if it gaps up, if it takes out a good resistance, if. Otherwise, again, come June, I will lose an R on Go Health, but you know, we got that one. A lot of you guys are asking about some more stocks. So let me throw these in the chat in the window here, and we'll go look at those in just a moment. Overstock. I don't have any position in Overstock, but it is coming back to the exact same price that it was back in January. So if that helps you, makes you feel any better, pretty cute Morningstar reversal. So if you're buying down here, buy low, sell high. This is the weekly chart on Overstock. So we do have a lower high on this one. And trying to think if there's anything else interesting. No, not really. That's really it. I mean, would I be surprised tomorrow with a lot of the traps that got set today if we have like a candle that looks like this on most of the market? No, I wouldn't be surprised, but we're going to need some type of news. Biden's going to need to say something. He's been really quiet recently, or Trump or Pelosi, somebody. Someone's going to have to come out and say something interesting for the market to start rallying, I think. So anybody, someone, somewhere, except for Jay Powell. Yeah, except for him. He's never made the market go up ever, I don't think. But yeah, Elon tweet maybe. Someone, somewhere will have to say something. Otherwise, I think we're going to go a little bit lower for a little bit longer. But, you know, again, I think Thursday of last week, I said back pain's probably 4 or 5 more days away. So I think we can go a little bit lower before we start to get a little bit of love. Here's SPWR. Cal says some of the states opening back up did nothing for the market. Really, it did the opposite of nothing. It did negative. Like it caused a lot of stocks to go down, which is somewhat kind of intriguing, I think. So yeah, however weird that is, but yeah, that definitely happened. Weekly chart, old resistance, new supports is at 26. SunPower, I mean, was at 55. Hottest stock in the world a week and a half ago. Everybody wanted in. This is a very, very pretty setup though. Leah says lots of stuff goes up, just tech is down. Yeah. I mean, financials are strong today. That's for sure. SPY is very strong. I'm gonna have to put that one on the list for tomorrow. This one looks really, really good. John says Disney is strong. JP Morgan is strong. Yep, all those. All of those. Anything on the Dow and the SPY. But yeah, tech, not strong. All right, so SunPower, we're going to come back to that one tomorrow because that is a really, really pretty setup, actually. I like that a lot. All right, Derek Washington has been looking at APH for a bit, and this is the weekly chart on this one. So weekly chart, good fundamentals, good trend. I mean, just slow grind higher, right? Looks a lot like a lot of things. Very good old resistance, new support at 54. So I'd love to buy that pullback if it gets down there. Daily chart, you do have a very, very clean hammer. It's a pretty massive hammer, but today we did end up with a relatively decent bullishness on APH. So if I was looking at playing this one, I'd probably try to buy some at 60.43, 59.24, and have my stop at 58 on APHA, or at least just watch it for bullishness because it does have a nice morning reversal. It did just have a split. You know, you usually post splits, you get a little bit of a sell-off. So you had a 2-for-1 split. So you did sell off some, and that could be a buying opportunity. So we'll see. We'll find out what APH does, but right now it's looking pretty cute and should be interesting to see what she does. Fuel cell, ticker symbol FCEL, inside candle with a hammer at the 100, hottest stock in the world at 28. Everyone wanted to buy it there. Now it's at 12. Nobody wants to touch it. Again, I didn't have any position on fuel cell. I pretty much missed most of the write up, but it was, if you look at the monthly chart, it was in what I would refer to as a counter trend play if you were playing it bullish. So it makes sense to have locked in some gains because it was a little bit What's the term I'm looking for? Man, it's like on the tip of my tongue. I can't quite remember. Anyway, so a little bit of a water slide. Yeah, it's a little bearish, a tad down. So if you're playing fuel cell, obviously you're going counter trend. If you still like it, if you liked it at 26, you should probably like it at 12. 200 simple moving average is at $9.78. And I do like this candle at the 100. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on fuel cell. Okay, Apple was requested today, and I did buy some puts on Apple today because we were closing below this hammer and this hammer at the close of market. Now, granted, the 200 simple is only just a few points away, but you know, it wouldn't be a bad thing if I make some money on a short slide down there to Apple. I could probably sell some of those puts just as a hedge, but that'd be the first time Apple has even interacted with the 200 since the drop in COVID. Sammy says $112 is my first tier on Apple. Very nice. And I did see some traders selling some puts for April at $100 on Apple. So if you're looking at playing Apple, I would say really this is obviously a buy zone down here. And Apple is certainly one of those longer term ones where you have to be comfortable buying it low and just leaving it alone. So because if you buy it at 96 and it goes up to 136, unless my math is really bad, that's approximately 41% return. And that could happen by the end of the year. So this is a buy zone down here. And I'm not saying it's going to get there. I'm really not. It probably won't, but it could. So I did buy some puts on it because we were closing below two strong hammers today, and the weekly chart. I mean, you're below everything. So the 50 is at 109.81. Makes sense for Apple to pull back. I do have puts. We will see what happens. Qualcomm. So QCOM. I don't have any position in this one, but it hit the 200 simple today. Again, all tech is pulling back in a big way. Not to cause anyone to get afraid or upset, but this is a decent gap on earnings. It has not gotten filled yet. So I wouldn't buy a whole heap ton here. I would have some, right? Some, because remember, even if you want to buy your stock that you love, you don't have to buy it. If you want to buy 100 shares of a company, you don't have to buy 100 shares on day one. You know, you can buy 10 shares and then day 2 buy 10 shares and day 3 buy 10 shares and all that kind of good stuff. So again, something to keep thinking through and just watch. Yeah, so Qualcomm's at the 200 simple. It's doing its thing. If you're in it, accumulate it. And I don't have any positions in this one. Zoom, I did buy some puts on Zoom at the close of the market today because we were closing below this ginormous hammer. So should I have sold my call options there? Obviously, the answer is yes. I didn't think the sell-off would be that large on Zoom, and obviously it is. So right now, closing below that hammer on Friday, I mean, any stock that closed below the hammer on Friday, I bought puts. I bought puts. It was, I mean, a little bit of a rough town. Jeff says, is this new part of your plan to buy puts if we close below a hammer? That's been in the rule book since day 9, my man, for me. Since day 9 of all time of trading, if you close below a strong hammer, I'm always getting in bearish. Yep. So again, I'm in short. It doesn't mean it's going to go lower, but this one could go a little bit lower. I mean, you're below pretty much everything. Michael says puts as in protective puts. You can call them whatever you want. Honestly, Michael, they are long puts, meaning I bought them, right? Which means I own them. So since I own them, if Zoom goes down, what happens to those puts? Yep, put value will go up in price. That is correct. Leah says, for what day? I bought regular April 310 puts. Yep, you're very welcome. So anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, that could get a little gnarly McNarlerton. And it's a double top on a weekly chart, monthly chart. I mean, it's up there. So, you know, when Zoom was at 550, it just has been selling off ever since. Anyway, that's it. Long story short, I got some puts. I don't know what else to say. If it goes lower, cool. If it doesn't go lower, that's fine. I'm technically hedged. And realistically, I think my target for those puts, I don't think we're gonna get down to here. That'd be a little extreme. I don't think we're getting down there by April. I guess it's possible, but we have room to go lower. And also type in a 3 if you know that Zoom is in bear Momo on the daily chart. Oscar says, what expiration do you have? I bought the regular April 310 puts on Zoom. Donna says, what strike and dates did you buy on Apple? I bought the at the money April put options. I wish I was cool, guys. I do the same thing all the time, forever and ever when I trade puts. I just buy the next month at the money strike. I wish I was cooler and did something better, but that's what I've done forever. Yep. So just at the money or a little bit out of the money next month. So April puts 310. That's it. So we will see. American Well, someone said, am I in my final pyramid yet? I'm not. My final pyramid is 1948, which I was talking about that the other day. And so I'm actually lower that because we barely missed out on Friday. So I'm going to take that down to 18 even on American Well. Earnings are in later March, so we'll see if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Again, if I'm patient enough on this one, I think it'll be just fine, but it is absolutely low, and pretty much anything health related, tech related, or it helps people that have COVID related is probably down. So that's pretty much it. PCG, someone's asking for that one. I think it's Jeff. PCNG. Sammy says this is health and tech. Yep. So this is utilities. Pretty impressive that they're still around, but they are still around. They a lot of traders did very, very well in this one for a bit. This one held up extremely strong today. So you did have a good hammer. We did close bullish. If I were playing PCG today, which I don't have any positions in personally, but if I was playing that hammer, I actually really like that setup. I would buy a pullback into the high with a stop below the low. That should be their slogan, honestly, Robert. Who says you can't go bankrupt multiple times? We're PG&E Corporation. We are a utilities company that filed bankruptcy numerous times. Would anyone like to buy our stocks? Thanks. Everything is just fine. We're not partnered with Enron in any kind of way. PG&E Corporation. All right. So you guys have a few more to add to the list. Okay. So let's go look at REGI. And again, there are a lot of really, really pretty hammers out there. I'm not denying that at all. It's going to be hard to pick which ones to play and which ones not to. But, you know, REGI, renewable energy, really has made its run up. I mean, if you're taking like, oh, the whole Biden play, I mean, Biden play is in a full effect on this thing, man. It went from 60 to 110 in a few months. So that is really, really up there. But very, very pretty hammer. I cannot deny that at all. So if we take out some of these highs, I would be playing it more bullish than bearish on REGI. Just have a stop loss down here. And if you're playing it for a longer term position, again, obviously you could have just smaller stabs at it to be in and to kind of stay in. If you want to. Again, you by no means have to, but you can. Bob says, I got leaps. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I'll look at some stocks I got leaps on as well. Okay, PHM, Plute Group. So I don't have any positions in this one, but we have definitely analyzed it before. Another strong one. This is, I think, part of the Dow Jones, I believe. And yeah, this was a powerhouse today. Retest gap, since the market is a little bit, well, on the weaker side, you could probably afford to set a limit buy to buy the dip on this one. Limit buy would probably be like 45.85, the stop at 41.85. And overall trend on the weekly chart looks nice. You know, we did close above the COVID highs and we are kind of just retesting. So in general, I'm expecting a little bit of a slow growth, but buy the dip would be in full effect on Plute Group. All right, last two. Clean Energy Fuels Corporation went from 4 to 20 because why not? And is now working on pulling back some. So I don't have any positions in this one. If I did, I'd probably look to buy it around 8. And that's it. I mean, it had an exhaustion volume, huge gap up on February 8th, and we closed below that gap a few days later. February 16th was your warning signal. So if you're backtracking that one, that would be the time to not specifically be bullish. Again, I don't have any positions in this one, but if I did, that is where I would have gotten out. All right, last but not least, everyone's losing on Fastly. I know. I am too. I'm in. I do have Fastly longer term call options, the 85 calls. And yep, definitely down. Bought some here when it was at 82, bought some here when it was 72, and bought some here when it was 63. So I'm pretty much in my full position of Fastly. And yep, I will be hedging with options when it breaks below here, which is 57.85. And if you guys had to guess, you are correct, right? I would be buying April 55 puts most likely, just to protect myself to see what would happen from there. And that'd be it. Because again, the thing is with leaps, you do have time. If we do like that, we trade down here and then we somehow miraculously do something like this, it could work out very, very well in our favor. Again, it's the exact same thing I did back here in October. So I'm just repeating my plan and trading it again. So if it does it again, awesome. Robert says, I mean, it's only down like 60%. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. From here to here, 50%. You know, if you go from the exact high all the way down, yeah, to the low, 57%. So it is a lot for sure. Can it go lower though, Robert? What do you think? The answer is yes, folks. Stocks can go down to 0% if they want. I don't think that would happen in this case, but I mean, going down to 24, nobody would like it, but that would be about 89%, which is the equivalent of the Great Depression, literally. So when the Great Depression sold off, it sold off 89%. And in the tech bubble, same thing. You had 89% all over the place. So is it going to happen again? We will see, but I will have protective puts if we close or get down below 57.85 on Fastly. Donna says, would you buy an $8 leap today? I would only buy the 85, and I did buy another 85 leap today. That is correct. Yep. So I'm buying the 85, but if you want to buy the 80, you can. I bought one more today, and we'll see what happens. So I'm in on Fastly, and let's see if it goes higher. Cal says, I mean, they're done, right? Nobody wants the internet to go faster. Nah, nobody wants the internet to go faster. Jenny says, do you have shares or only calls? I only have call options on Fastly, personally. Only have calls. All right, Squadron, tomorrow, Tech Giant Tuesday. What are we looking at? We'll definitely look at AMD for sure tomorrow. Google, absolutely. Billy can do. Salesforce can do. Apple, QS, MMM, Hasbro, Datadog, JMIA, US Steel, Roku, Tesla, Bitcoin, Lulu, Smile Direct, MGNI, PayPal, Pinterest, Sumo, First Solar, Zoom, ZIM, Groupon, APPS, LUV, EVR, Spot. Awesome, Squadron. Well, you'll know where I will be tomorrow. Same time, same place. And until then, thank you so much. And remember, love life, and trade it. You guys rock. Bye.